Okay, welcome back to another VB.NET tutorial for creating a simplified accounting system. So, in the previous video, what we were able to do is adding a receipt, one type of receipt. Okay, I think it was deposit receipt. Yes, it was a deposit receipt. And we saw that the code is very straightforward. And today we're gonna work with drawing money, and hopefully we'll work with moving money. So let's go back to our code, and first let us go back to our Solution Explorer to display the database over here. Come on. Visual Studio is opening that. Okay. A little bit faster, Visual Studio. Okay, there you go. And we can see here, okay, these are the accounts available, and we can see the receipts, right? So we have a number of receipts, and if we run the project, I think the username was admin password 123, and we log into the system. We can see the three accounts over here. As for receipts, there is nothing that allows us to display the receipts. So my mistake here, maybe we should add something to display the receipts and view them. Certainly you want to see the receipts and some of the details. Okay, in order to do that, so I'll focus now on displaying the receipt, and then I will go and add, instead of deposit, I will add the draw and move. Okay, so let me close this one. And well, the way we worked with accounts, if you remember that, we are just getting the result back from the data table, and then we display the information, right? So let me just remind myself with the code. Okay, that's it. It's very straightforward. Here you find there's something very simple, that is get the data table, which is this one. Okay, and it's just a very simple select statement to return the details. Now for receipts, we have an insert over here, just an insert, and we will create sorry, I meant to open and see the details of this. Okay, and all we need to do now is to create a select statement for displaying the information over here. Okay, now let me see if I could write a new query, and I wonder if we could display a designer here, because visual designer for many will be much easier. Maybe I will write the SQL directly. So I'm gonna join the accounts table with the receipts, okay, to and display the results. So the statement is select star from we have what accounts, this is gonna be source. I am renaming the table to be source. Okay, I assume you know a little bit about SQL. Okay, and also we have accounts destination, and also seats. Okay, and now the condition, the join condition. Okay, and this is gonna be where source dot account ID equals receipts dot, this is gonna be source account ID, and at the same time destination dot account ID equals receipts dot receipts dot destination account ID. Okay, now if you run this one, Okay, you'll find there are lots of information over here. So we don't want to display everything right away. Instead, we will select a few fields. So this is going to be receipt ID. I want the receipt ID to be displayed. Okay. Also, I want to display the receipt number. Also, I want to display the receipt date, right? And also, I want to display the receipt amount. And also, we want to show the source account. For this reason, we will use source dot account holder name, and the receiver account destination dot destination account holder name. Now if we run this one, now this is much better and it's readable. Okay, so here you see the receipt number, you see the receipt date, and receipt amount. As you can see here, you can see that there is no source for the account holder, and there is no account that you are drawing from. You have an account you are depositing into. Okay, so this is the this is the one you are drawing from, this is the one you are depositing to. Actually there is an account, but basically it has an empty string for name, and this is the trick we do in order to avoid using left and then right outer join, and simplify our code as much as possible and our queries as well. Okay, in addition to that, well, we might want our program to be a little bit smart and sort the results. Right now the results are sorted, there is nothing wrong here, but for in some cases you want to sort things. So we order by what? Basically we need to order by receipt date and receipt ID. Say for example you enter 2 receipts for today, and then you remember that there is a receipt that you should have entered yesterday. So you want to display the receipts in order, or according to the date. Okay, so now if we run this again, okay, not much change, but yeah, that's it. Since we have this statement, now we can actually copy this one. So here, let me convert this to VB friendly code right away. This is what I do usually when there is some query or complex report. I write the SQL, see the result, make sure that all is okay, and then I convert that and put the code back in VB. Very straightforward, very easy. Okay, and let's go and VB new line. There you go. Now you might be wondering why I put so many spaces. Well, you don't have to, but sometimes I want the SQL statement to be a little bit more readable. Yeah. Okay, and we put that here. Okay, that's wonderful. And now we copy this. Okay, and let's go to the receipt class. So now I will say here public function get data table for receipts. Here as database manager class, followed by this should be an underscore, part of RMSG as string, and that's it, as data table. and we put a try catch db.rollback and error msg equals ex.message, and there should be a log here and return nothing. As for this part, dimensions equal as string equals control V. Wonderful. So all works fine, I suppose. Okay, now just to make this looks nice, okay, just bear this for a second. Sometimes I care about these. It makes reading things easier for me, especially when debugging. Debugging is very, very important. Okay, you don't have to do that. You could leave everything the way it is, but yeah. Now, one of the things that you might be wondering, well, this statement returned the whole receipt. So if you run the application or the program for, let's say, 2 or 3 years, and every day you enter, let's say, 50 receipts or something like that, you will end up after 2 years with a huge number of receipts, and you don't want that. And that is very accurate. You don't want to display all the results, but for now I'm just making a simple report to display everything. Later on we will see how we can filter the results and display a subset of the total number of receipts to make things easier for us, okay, or for the end user. Now, since we got this one, we just say dimension dt equals db.full data table. I pass the SQL statement and return the dt. Very straightforward, but let me just copy the code here for writing the log, right? So now let's go back up there, and where is that? And we paste it here. Now we finish this one, but also I want a few things. Should I do it or not? Maybe you might want to add the source account ID, destination account ID, but the receipt ID is enough, I suppose, so no need to worry much about it. Now let me add description. This function returns a data table containing all the receipts in the database with the names of the source and destination accounts shown. Very straightforward. Thank you. Okay, now since we have this one, we might want as well the script here, I don't want it, so don't save that. Okay, since we've done this one, we might want to update the code that fills the graphical user interface, right? So this is a GUI module, and we are gonna do something very similar that will fill the data grid view with the receipts. So public function fill DGV with receipts, and we pass data grid view as data grid view. Wonderful. And db as database manager class, followed by ref error msg as a string, and this should return a boolean, and we write a try catch. Yeah, so let me just copy these parts of the code. Actually, it might be a little bit faster to copy and paste everything, but I want to repeat a few things so that you could remember the code. So now first we load the receipts from the DB, and dimension dt equals receipts class dot oops. Now this is the mistake. You can see here that Visual Studio does not recognize the method for getting the data table of receipts, because here I am mentioning the receipt class. The method that we wrote here, which is get data table for receipt, It is just a public method, which means you need to create an object to access it. This is a mistake, so in order to solve that and access it by using the class name, we just say that this is a shared function. Since it's shared, we can now access it directly. So now you can see that we can access get data table for receipts, and we pass the DB over here and the error message. Okay, and we say if dt is nothing, then through new exception, and we pass error message. By the way, throwing exceptions slows the code heavily. Since this is not a performance application, I don't care. I just want to remove control from the main body of the function and go to the exception part because I am very lazy. But it will be much better if you just roll back, fill the error message in the code, and return the false result. Okay, so now that said, let's continue. Remove previous shown data. So dimension old binding source as binding source, right? And this should equal dgv dot binding source. Oops. Data source. Okay. And then we check if all binding source is not nothing. Then we would say dgv dot data source equals nothing to remove the pointer first, and then we should remove the data table. So dimension old dt as data table. I'm cheating a little bit because I don't want to run my brain, so I'm kind of looking down here to remember what I did last time. But anyway, basically this is the data table, and this equals the old binding source dot data source. So now we got the table, and now we need to dispose that. As for the old binding source dot dispose as well, since we finished that, we will create a new binding source here now. Create a new binding source and connect dt to it. So dimension bs as new binding source. Okay, and bs dot data source equals dt, and finally dgv dot data source equal bs. Okay, I'm using binding source. You could make the dt point to the the data source and the data category. You point directly into the data table without using the binding source, but the binding source will help us later on doing search, okay, because it has a filter property that we will use later on. Now that said, let's rename the fields. Okay, so now we have dgv dot columns of, now we have receipt id, okay, dot visible equal false. That's wonderful. dgv dot columns of receipt number, number, come on, receipt number, there you go, dot header text equals actually I'll use the number here. Oops, number. Okay, that's fine. dgv dot columns of, now we have receipt date dot header text equals date. Okay, and we have oh, let us go back to the receipts class now. Since we are displaying the source account holder name and destination account holder name, these we need a way to distinguish the field names. So we will write few names here. This is going to be S and D. So S will stand for source and D stands for destination. This will be an alias name for this column, and D will be an alias name for this column. So going back here, and so dgv dot columns of S dot header text equals source account, there you go, dgv dot columns of d dot header text equals destination account. Okay, so now we fill the source and destination account. What other fields are we displaying here? We have the amount, so dgb dot columns of amount, there you go, header text equals amount, or balance. Maybe I should have used the word balance instead of amount, but you know, this is the name inside the database, this is the name that the end user cares about, so use that. Okay, no problem. Yeah, and I suppose that's it, right? So now, since all is fine, we just return true, and all is fine. If we compare these two codes, they are very similar, I suppose. Oh, there's a way, there is formatting. I didn't do formatting here, so I might want to do formatting for the balance column. So the column here and default cell style dot format equals n2. Okay, for 2 digits after the decimal point. Okay, and now we need to call this one, so let me put comments here. This method is used to, actually this is a function, basically a method doesn't return value, but a function returns value, whatever. This function is used to fill the data grid view object with receipts. Okay, and I suppose that's it. We don't need to, you know, add more notes here. Let's go to the GUI and the main window. Good. And let me see, this is the refresh method, right? Yeah, not this one. Let's go here, the refresh method. Okay, so clicking on the refresh here, and wait a second, I need to open a connection, right? So here, dimension db as database manager class, actually as a new database manager class, try, and finally db.close database, and whatever, let me say here, dimension msg string equals nothing, if not db.open database connection msg, then true, new exception msg, whatever. So finally we close the database connection. That's wonderful. Also we might want to display a message here. Let me see, what did I do so that we have consistent behavior. Opening this, oh, I'm using different style. Very sorry about that. Let me use the same style. Okay, there are different ways to write the code. There's no one correct way. In many cases I use try catch finally to make sure that everything works well. Anyway, so now I'm opening the database connection. If nothing works well, I show the message here. Now I will use full DGV with receipts, and this is gonna be receipts data grid view. Okay, could not load the receipts from the database. Okay, so now I did the dirty trick of copying and pasting, and you must have used that to a minimum, because in many cases you assume the code will work right away, and you basically are leaving bugs in the code. So now let us try this out. We run the application, and we hit admin. Oops, admin 123, go login, and we refresh here, and yeah, there's a problem. So now we made a mistake. So let us see what did we do or trace. So now we are passing this DB object F11. Okay, do you want to continue being notified when the automatic stable happen? No, whatever. So now let me see. So we got the data table here. It is not nothing. That's fine. New binding source. We filled everything here. The receipt ID is not visible. Receipt number, receipt date, the source account, destination account, the amount. Okay, not the amount, it's receipt amount. Sorry about that. So the name of the column is wrong. Receipt amount, right? So as you can see, this is the statement that's causing the error. No problem. We fixed that. Let's run. Okay, and now let's start fresh, and I hope everything will go well. Okay, so now we can see this is the receipt, its date, the balance change actually, and source account and destination account. Actually, since this is not an account, I don't think you could use balance with a receipt because balance is used with account, I suppose. English is not my first language, so I might be doing this wrong. Yeah, so instead of the word balance, I would say, what would I say here? Money? Post in the comment what word should be used here if English is your first language. Please, I need to improve mine. Okay, yeah. So now we managed to display the receipts, but there is still a problem, and that problem is, well, when you load the window, the main window, when you load that, the receipts are not rendered, right? So here I'm doing this again, and I close database exists subroutine. Okay, so I show the accounts and show the receipts. Now we are gonna run this. Go, my friend, and we say admin 123 login, and we go to receipts. All is well, right? Refresh. Let me remove the breakpoint here. This is annoying. And we refresh. All is being well, as you can see. So the money, this receipts. Okay. Yeah. Now let us go back here, and let's see if we could quickly create another form of receipt payment. So first we create a deposit money window. We will create now a draw money. Okay, the code is almost identical. So right click here and select add, and I'm gonna say Windows form. Okay, so this is gonna be a draw money window. Draw money window. We hit enter. So there's a number of things that we need to do. We click here, we go to the very top. Where is that? We have the font. It is gonna be Times New Roman, bold, and 10. I'm used to that. I hope it's the same one I'm using, right? And the other forms, fixed single, and the icon here. This is the icon. right? And what also I should be doing, there is no maximize. Where's the maximize? No maximize and no minimize. There you go. Okay, so this is the deposit. Let's click here and see the color, because yeah, let me just copy this and go to the draw, click here, and where is the color here? Oops, Control V, and we enter. Okay, the color now is set. Okay, now I will click here and see the dimensions of this one. It's in the size. I will copy that, go back here, click, and this is the size. Control V and enter. Now they are both identical. This is deposit. This is gonna be a draw receipt. Draw receipt. Enter. Now we need to get all these controls. So we are gonna copy this. Click here. Click Control V. Everything is in place. Wonderful, right? So this is a drawing receipt. We draw money. That is wonderful, right? So also we need to set the tab orders. So this is the first one. Yeah, I think it's accurate. There's no problem. There's no need to change that at all. Now let's go and copy some of the code. This is the load event. I'm gonna copy this and I will go here and paste in the draw. And the reason for that is because, very simply, this is actually opening the database, getting the list of account, filling the combo box, right? And this is the important part, and that's it. Okay, now let me go again to the deposit. The deposit, the cancel, we just returned dollar result cancel. So let's go here. Where's the draw and the cancel? I can say me.dollar result equal cancel. Now let me go to the deposit again. In the add, we need to do what? We need to perform this. We need to get this code. By the way, when you copy controls from one window to another, what happens that every control still retains the new copy would have the same name on the new window. So now, okay, you find that this one works perfectly. So we have text number, text receipt number. There's a validation for that, and the account and the amount, etc., etc. Now there is one important thing. We are opening a database. We are loading the account. Now instead of the destination account, this is gonna be what? This is gonna be the source account. So we're gonna draw from the source account, and this is gonna be the destination. Okay, so the difference of this code differs from the previous ones that, well, instead of the source account being -1, which means don't draw from any account, we are setting the destination account to be -1, which means don't increase any account, and the source will have its money drawn from. So yeah, that's it. So now we can deposit and also draw. Now the one last thing that we need to do is go and you know, glue things here. So I will copy this. Oops, I went to the wrong part, right? Yeah, let's go here. Wait, this is the deposit, right? This is the deposit. Yeah, so I'm gonna copy this because I don't want to, you know, write the code again and again. So instead of deposit money, there's gonna be draw money window. New draw money window. I'll show the dialog. Yeah, and I'll fill the user interface with the account. And actually, I need to fill the user interface with the receipts as well. So fill data grid view with what? Receipts. And this is gonna be receipts data grid view. Okay. Could not load receipts from the database, and I need to copy this. Let's go, and yeah, the same goes for the deposit. This method is missing. There you go. and all should be fine, I suppose. Now let's see if it works. So here, say admin 123. Okay, so as you can see, we have right now Todd. First Todd is here. Where's that? We have Todd 2. We have Tani. He have 100. Let's draw 30. So let's go back and say draw and receipt number. Okay, whatever. Let's go to Tani and we will draw 30 and we press add. Okay, so we got this one. You see here that Tani appears in this part, which means we are drawing from Tani and no one's receiving the money. Okay, so we are reducing the account right now. So Tani now have 70. Very straightforward, very easy, as you can see. The way we did things, we just changed the source and destination ID. We just swap these. Instead of depositing money, now we are drawing money. And by the way, the same code, exactly the same. If we, instead of -1, we use different account number, the system will automatically draw from one account and deposit money into the other. It is as simple as that. The way we did it is very simple, but very powerful as well. So let me save that. Right, and yeah, I have work in the morning, so I cannot keep doing this tutorial now, so I'll have just to mark this step. Okay, and yeah, I'm moving slowly, sorry about that, but I will save this. Okay, and I will upload the source code on the website, so if you would like to download it, you could visit the website and download the source. And if you have any comments or anything, just post it, and hopefully I'll have enough time to answer that. If I don't answer, sorry, I'm being a little bit too busy these days. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye bye.